Welcome to the Average Nobodies podcast, the ultimate home for wrestling enthusiasts, beer drinkers, movie quoters, and pop culture connoisseurs. Here are your hosts, Matt and Ryan.
Welcome to the Average Nobodies podcast number 54 for November 2nd, 2017. On today's show, we are in television heaven as we dissect and explore all 9 episodes of Stranger Things 2, The Walking Dead 8.2, The Damned, and The Deuce 1.8, My Name is Ruby. You can chat with us on Twitter at Average Nobodies, toss us a like on Facebook at Average Nobodies, and heart all of our pictures on Instagram, also at Average Nobodies. Don't forget, this podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube. My name is Ryan, and with me, as always, is...
Matt. I'm here.
Hey, he's here.
I'm here. Barely survived Halloween weekend, I'll be honest. Barely survived. After we left your house, the terrific party, we went out to... It was Elise's birthday. We went down to the karaoke bar. First of all, everybody made fun of every single song I picked.
So what are some of the picks you had?
So I started off with Notorious B.I.G. Juicy.
Okay.
People were fine with that. Even Neil got involved with that. And no one else wanted to take the other microphone. But except when Neil saw that it was Juicy, he popped up. He sat in the corner and he sung with me. So that was fine. Got off to a good start. And then Elise started doing some songs, and everybody was having a good time. And then I went up there and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw on some. What did I do first? I think Jimmy Buffett. I did one. I did an Aerosmith song that nobody really enjoyed, and then I started getting into the show tunes. I did a few songs from Hamilton, a few songs from Book of Mormon that people didn't enjoy.
Was anyone else singing during this?
No, yeah, a lot of people were doing songs. There was nobody really knew how to use the it was an iPad. So we had a private room at the Boombox Room in Providence. It was fucking so much fun. I would do that normal nights of the week.
I love the Boombox Room.
Amazing. Yeah. So you go into the room and you have an iPad and the TV's in front of you with karaoke, and there's this big book listed by artist or musicals or whatever, and you put the number in, you hit go, and it adds it to the queue. But people kept putting in numbers and then hitting go a million times, not knowing that all right, you hit it once, it goes.
Right.
So then next thing you know, the song from The Lion King's on there for fucking 10 in a row, so we had to cancel them and cancel. But it was a good time, and it was also pretty wild too because it was Halloween, so everybody was out in Providence for Halloween, and everybody inside the boombox room in the general area were all dressed up, and there was this guy in a fantastic Mr. Fox costume. It was the most incredible Halloween costume I've ever seen. So he was dressed in a tan sport coat and the scarf and dressed like a normal human, and then he had this amazing fox mascot head on. But it would the mouth would move when he talked. So I don't know how he was controlling it, but the mouth would move and he would talk, and he was it's so funny. He was just sitting in the corner enjoying karaoke and drinking a drink and just sitting there with his.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
I love Boombox Room. That's a great spot.
Yeah, felt terrible the next day.
Yeah, I did not feel good last night.
Drank a little too much. Well, Jeff Mello didn't do me any favors. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
The second a minute before I left your house, he insisted that we. And I think I probably gave in a little bit too easy. He insisted that we timed me shotgunning a can and a bottle to see which one I did quicker. So I shotgunned back-to-back beers.
So you had 2 beers less than a minute.
Yeah, and then I drank nothing but champagne at the Boombox Room.
So now, do they let you bring your own drinks in if you have a private room?
No. Unfortunately, they should do that because there's no good option to get booze when you're there. First of all, as you know, it's an awkward spot. Is they don't serve alcohol. Yeah. They only have beer, wine, I think, and champagne. And sake, yeah.
Which is
so it's odd. And champagne is only in these little mini bottles, and they're super expensive for what you're getting. So I was just drinking champagne the whole night, and that didn't end well either. So,
but successful Halloween. I feel like we try to do what we've done, and then we just feel worse and worse.
Your party always brings out the best costumes in people. There was some great costumes. Jen and Adam were fucking awesome. Gomez and Morticia.
Yep.
You and Holly were awesome with the tourist and Lady Liberty. That was amazing.
That one came out.
Tom always steps up to the occasion for Halloween.
So dedicated.
Yeah, he was Salt Bay. So the guy who
he spent $25 on that thing of salt.
That's crazy.
Because Holly was talking to him and he bought it, and the woman was like, please do not use this for a Halloween costume. This is
That's
expensive.
What you're saying?
Yeah. like, this is expensive. He's like, no, this is the one the guy uses in the video. She's like, sir.
Oh, it is. It's like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's amazing.
Oh, he's a psycho. He loves Halloween.
He does.
And so that was great. There was a lot of good costumes out.
There was.
So
Jeff Mello and Justine, diehard characters.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
So now we actually, before we get into the TV club, we have a last-minute submission for People versus the Internet.
Yeah. All right. Let's you want to we'll tee it off.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So Papa John, that's his given name, from Papa John's Pizza, he had some comments that Papa John's stock is down. And he's blaming the NFL players kneeling during the national anthem for this. So in his logic, the players are allowed to kneel, which is pissing off some of the NFL fan base, which isn't really affecting the ratings as well. Like last year it affected them a little bit, but the ratings are holding steady. But he's still going on that the ratings are down. And Papa John's is one of the main advertisers for the NFL. So he thinks that his stock is down because the NFL players are kneeling during the anthem. Internet did not handle that well. They did not, and they shouldn't. Yeah. For some reason, it's always like the people you don't care whose opinions are. You know, like they're the ones who get front and center.
Yeah.
Like, you know who I don't care what they think about the national anthem protest? Papa John.
I
don't care.
And his stock prices.
Yeah, like I don't care. The guy he just came off probably his latest bender where he was hammered drunk somewhere.
Oh, you know he was.
Yeah.
You remember that picture when he was at the
God.
Louisville game?
You having to be held up by strangers. But we have a sample of some of the tweets that people put out on the Twitterverse. One of them, the only time Papa John should be eaten is when you're at a multi-level marketing scheme meeting. It's actually kind of accurate. Papa John is blaming its poor sales on black NFL players. Maybe your sales are down because your pizzas taste like Sarah Sanders flip-flops.
Oh.
And then we have the opposite end of the spectrum, which is always a little extreme. This gentleman tweeted at the Washington Post for some reason, and he says, "I have cut my cable service and boycott all NFL, including Papa John's." He cut his cable.
If you wanted to actually boycott every advertiser that was at the NFL, you might die.
Right.
Because there's a lot of companies that are in bed with the NFL that you probably deal with on a daily basis.
Yes.
That's besides the point.
And it's okay to disagree with the protests and also eat Papa John's pizza or whatever.
My favorite part of this whole thing was, and I don't know if you have it written down here, but DiGiorno Pizza got in the mix.
Did they?
Yeah. So DiGiorno Pizza, and I wish Rob was here now for this. Rob was supposed to join us again, but he's busy, but he might join us in a little bit. But DiGiorno's Pizza follows this account that I also follow called Fat Kids Deals, which they just tweet out like, it's like Black Friday deals, but year round. They just tweet out when there's good deals online. And Fat Kids Deals was like, tweeted out this shirt that says, delete your account. And it was like CCing Papa John's. It was like, everybody buy this shirt like in protest of Papa John's or whatever. So like delete your account, like delete your Twitter account. And Papa John's, and I don't know if it's brand new, but they just changed up their Twitter bio to frozen pizza equals the pizza equivalent of a participation trophy. And DiGiorno Pizza did not like that. So you know DiGiorno Pizza is very active on social media. So they were going smart. They were retweeting the like delete your account thing, and it was like, hey, we're gonna need 6 of these. Like it was pretty good. So they were going after Papa John's. Love it.
Yeah, Papa John's, not a smart comment.
No.
And you lost. You lost against the internet.
Absolutely lost.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
People have to better check what comes out of their mouth before they say something. Because Papa John has to be, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't, but you got to know that sounds real stupid. The reason why my company is doing bad is because of the NFL protests.
I think that some people are just so clueless. They're just so out of the loop on normal everyday things that he probably really thinks that that's the reason.
Want to know what doesn't help your pizza company? Saying that.
Yes. You're going to lose more sales than
now you're going to bring people's attention. A lot of the times...
I didn't even know that.
I would have still... regardless of my feelings on anything that happens on a TV program, I'm probably still going to eat and like patronize like the advertisers. Like that's not that I don't even put 2 and 2 together at that point.
No.
But like
I'm doing this for survival.
But
I have
now
to
I'm
eat.
like, oh, Papa John's, that guy's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat
I'll go
there. And
somewhere else.
I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of people, millions of people that also agree with that. It's not gonna help your stock, man.
It's not.
It's not gonna help your stock. All right, let's get into the most exciting part of this show. Stranger Things 2.
I mean, surpassed expectations, which
Yeah.
we talked about a little before we came on.
Yeah.
But
I didn't think it was possible.
I didn't either. It's like you said, especially with the hype train that was rolling full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And how can they not even surpass it? How can they equal it? I think that's what a lot of people's thoughts
They
came in.
really did outdo themselves. And I was watching Beyond Stranger Things. It was like 7 episodes after. It was another thing where they just like talked to the actors.
Yeah.
And the Duffer Brothers and the showrunner, what is his name? Oh, the director. I forget his name. They were talking about how they wanted to make this show like bigger and grander and put it on a whole new scale. And like you always hear that out of like creators who for their second season or like for a new season they want to make it bigger. You hear it from Kirkman and you hear it from Nicotero with Walking Dead. They're like, we're gonna make this the biggest and baddest and bloodiest season of all time. And a lot of times it falls flat. But in the case of Stranger Things 2, fucking awesome. Also, this is a super side point, but I love that they're calling it Stranger Things 2, and nowhere, anywhere on the internet can you see a thing where it says Stranger Things Season 2.
Right.
They're just calling it like 2, the sequel. It's like, I love it. That's so cool. And they're treating it like one body of work. Because that's what it is. When you release something on Netflix, people are binging it. You're not watching it one week and then an episode the next week and an episode the week after. You're watching it all as one body of work, and that's how it's shot, that's how it's edited, and that's how they're promoting it. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, at first I didn't like. I not that I didn't like it, but I'm like Stranger Things 2. Like it should be season 2. But then I'm thinking, I'm like, but you're not. You're watching it like you watch a movie.
Yeah.
You're not watching it like a TV show week to week, like you said.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not a TV show anymore.
No, it is the sequel to Stranger Things.
Yeah. It's a movie with intermissions.
Right.
with
Very brief
six,
intermissions.
with 6 intermissions. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Or no, eight intermissions. So an overall theme here for Stranger Things 2 was like you have here where did you have it somewhere? Like, did you have power couples down there somewhere, or did we not?
So like our favorite pairings.
Yeah, so like it was very like two people together working together, like but helping like the grand scheme of everything. So you had at the beginning you had 11. So just so everybody knows, this is going to be super spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen Stranger Things, please go and watch it and come back. You had at the beginning you had 11 and Chief Hopper.
Yep.
Right, so they were like a team because 11 was in hiding and Hopper was like trying to keep her safe. You have Joyce and Bob, new character Bob, who is Sean Astin, Rudy, and Sam. Yes, not Samwell. Sam. Just Sam. Fuck. What is his name? I'm thinking Samwell, but that's
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Anyway, from Lord of the Rings and Rudy and other one, countless other 80s movies, but some other ones you have now. You have like the kind of like love triangle, but then towards the end it's just Lucas and Mad Max, new character, and then you have Nancy and Jonathan, and a dark horse for this season, which was Dustin and Steve Harrington.
And we did a little poll on Twitter earlier today. We're up to 427 votes and counting.
Yes.
And Steve and Dustin running away with 53% of the vote.
Handily running away.
Yeah. Lucas and Max at 6%, as are Bob and Joyce, and 11 and Mike at 35%. Yeah. I put 11 and Mike because that was almost like it was really like a love story.
Yeah. Totally,
them reunite. I mean, it literally breaks my heart every time 11 says Mike.
Yeah.
She says it with such like heartbreak. I'm just like,
yeah.
Like, I need to hug you.
And that was one of the greatest parts was when he was explaining to her. He's like, I've been calling you for 300 and then she's like 328 days. She's like, I know. Like, I've heard every one. This is fucking amazing. So they really were like a duo the whole time. Like, she was always going to... One thing, and if I'm going to get this right out of the way at the beginning, one thing that really bothered me is the season started with so many love triangles. There was the love triangle with Bob, Joyce, and then Hopper a little bit, like that. There was something there. And then you had the thing with like when Mad Max first joined the party, when Mike was with her in the gymnasium, she was skateboarding around and 11 walked up to the door and she was like, got jealous and like, who is this girl, whatever. And then she left. I'm like, another fucking triangle. And then there was Jonathan and Nancy and Steve, which was another love triangle that came, that was from the first one again. But let's talk about Steve. So Steve is trying to do right by Nancy this episode. He's in love with her or whatever, and then shit goes kind of sour at that Halloween party.
In his defense, she drinks,
Yeah,
she's a little belligerent.
In this case, it really is Nancy not being sure about their relationship rather than Steve being kind of like a dick or being like not a good boyfriend. This is just her not being sure that she's like that Steve's the one or whatever. Right. But anyway, so he goes back to Nancy's house to apologize, where he runs into Dustin, and Dustin's like, "Listen, Steve, bigger fish to fry." Rips the roses right out of his hand.
I love it. He's like, "Are these from Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler?" No. All right, let's go. Like, he wouldn't take them if they're for the parents. I'm not getting in trouble. But if they're for Nancy, I'm taking them.
And then he's like, "You still got that bat?" And he's like, "What bat?" You know what bat? The one with the fucking nails sticking.
I mean, he's cooler than Negan.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Absolutely way cool and way better hair. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I honestly, I loved everything about Steve and Dustin's friendship in this.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of Stranger Things 2 for me.
Yeah.
Steve is at the tippity top of my power rankings. Him and 11 are like 1A and 1B, but he just did so much. And not only just like pretending to be cool, he stepped up big time.
Yeah.
In the junkyard, taking out the Demogorgs.
Yeah.
Right? Is that there?
Dem
dogs and
dem
dogs.
Dem dogs.
Them dogs.
Whatever they are.
Doing that, like standing up to Billy towards the end, even though Billy
kicked his ass
pretty badly.
Thank God for Max to like stick him in the neck with the tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Shit.
But I thought Steve was great. He was my favorite character from Stranger Things 2, and the Steve and Dustin friendship was awesome.
It was fantastic. It's so weird because you would have never thought that like those two characters would. I guess that's what the beauty of it is, right? You would never thought they would be paired up, and then it's like harmony. It's like perfect harmony. And Dustin is really funny. I think he really stepped up as a character from the first Stranger Things to number 2. He really stepped up as a character, not like necessarily himself, like Dustin, but the actor who played and like his role got like amped up to the nth degree, and he got a lot more screen time, and a lot of the stuff was really because of him with Dart and his like little, the thing that ended up turning into be a Demogorgon.
Yeah.
But like that whole thing, and like he really was like the linchpin for a lot of the story, like him and Will. Will just can't catch a break.
No. Tough life.
First one he gets
burn
stuck.
him alive.
Yeah. First he gets stuck with the fire poker. First Stranger Things, he's stuck in the Upside Down, almost dead. This one, he's being possessed by the shadow monster, which they end up giving the name the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
It's fucking badass.
That is pretty
badass. What are some other things from? I mean, I just love the music. It's amazing.
Always fits whatever the scene is.
Yeah,
it really
it's
does.
So creepy and like so good. They open up. They couldn't have opened up this Stranger Things 2 better than with all the kids at the arcade. Like that's like it's the motif, like that's what it is. It's 80s, it's all these kids running around an arcade, like getting dropped off by their parents, like in Will's case, because you kind of like right from the beginning you get that Joyce is not letting Will out of her sight, like for anger.
And it ends that way too. Like she's outside of the dance.
Yeah, and Hopper.
Like he asked me to give him some space, so I gave him a couple feet.
So I'm outside the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I do want to talk about my least favorite character on the show.
Okay.
Mr. Wheeler.
You don't like Mr. Wheeler?
What a waste. I hate him.
Yeah, this season in particular, he kind of really didn't do much. He was...
Poor Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about their teacher.
No,
so Mr. Wheeler.
Mike's dad.
He's a huge dick. Huge
like,
dick.
he can't even open the door for her. His wife's trying to take a nice bath.
Yeah.
He's sleeping.
Imagine that, like, he's sleeping and, like... I wouldn't have gone. But back in the day, like, in the 80s, like... You would have never, like, if you were Mrs. Wheeler and your husband was sleeping and he legitimately couldn't get up to get the door, like, I guess back in the day, you wouldn't dream of just letting someone because that's how, like, because there's no cell phones or anything.
Right.
So, like, if someone's trying to get in touch with you, like, you got to answer the door.
Like, this could be an emergency.
Yeah.
And now it's like, they can call me or whoever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. It couldn't be that important. And I was beyond Stranger Things, the show on Netflix. The Duffer Brothers were saying how hard writing things with cell phones makes like a show, because so many things can easily be fixed by cell phones.
Right.
It's so true.
It is.
And he was talking about the Wheelers, and like he's like, I can remember when we were kids, like running around our neighborhoods and going out on our bikes, like just how, the group always does in Stranger Things. And like the Wheelers are exactly how my parents were. They had no idea where we were and what we were doing. They were just like they were in the dark.
Back when the streetlights come on.
Yeah, exactly. They were in the dark. They had no idea where their kids were. That's the way it was.
It's true.
So like you don't know, like if someone's knocking on the door, like it could be your kid, it could be like a police officer with your kid, it could be, what I mean, like it could be, the implications are huge. Now you got people tweeting, checking in places, like where everybody is.
Right. At all times.
You know what's happening. So that's another thing that really draws me to these type of shows, Stranger Things, with the period piece, like 80s. The same thing with the Deuce, 70s. It's such a unique time, and things are so different, but they're still the same. But there's different, like different aspects of it that changes it completely. Even though it feels the same.
Yeah, and Holly made a good point. Like we're watching like she doesn't watch it, but watching the Deuce in the 70s, Stranger Things in the 80s, and then just knowing what I remember from 90s fashion.
Yeah.
The 80s was really the only decade where men dressed kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like the 70s was just what is happening. The 90s was so parachute pants.
Yeah. And the 90s were bad. 90s were bad.
But the 80s,
it was cool.
The jean jackets, like the roll up cup, like Steve dresses very cool.
Now in 2017, there's more fashion pulled from the 80s, I think, than anywhere else. Like,
I agree.
Jean jackets made a return. Leather jackets are making a return. Like, all things like that. Yeah, like rolling up, cuffing, that whole thing is all making a return. Like, 80s had all the cool of the things that were cool in the 90s without, like, the really loud colors. It was just, like, very...
It was more reserved.
Yeah.
But it was still cool. I think I'm going to try to grow my hair out like Steve.
Oh, man. I wish I had hair like that. I wish I could grow any hair, but I wish I had hair like Steve. Fucking amazing.
Billy's is a little too much.
Oh, I didn't like his hair. His hair was all over the fucking place. It was like very straggly and like it looked like it was like shaved in one little spot here and then like all fucking.
So what do you think about his button choice? He's always pretty low.
Always very low.
At least 3 or 4 buttons are on buttons.
I mean, if you could pull it off, like
he can pull it off.
He can pull it off. He's a very handsome guy.
He is.
Very handsome.
He's
guy.
Australian too, the actor, right?
Some kind of not American accent,
which is mind blowing because he puts on a pretty good accent.
But makes sense because all great actors now are British or kids.
Yeah, or children.
Or children. That's all the best actors in Hollywood now, and sometimes they're both.
Yeah, like my favorite actor on television is Joe from Modern Family, the little kid.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah,
he has the best timing. He's great.
Oh yeah, so his hair was great. I just had something I was going to talk about. Oh, Billy. So Billy, obviously, for the majority of Stranger Things 2, he's an asshole. You fucking hate this guy. Like, you're really meant to hate him. But then as soon as you meet his father, do you have a little empathy for him?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't feel you're not. I guess I'm hard to put in words. Like, you're not. He's still a dick. Like,
right.
He broke Max's skateboard. He's fucking beating up Steve Harrington. He's being a total cock. But you feel bad for him because of the house he lives in and like things like that and like what his father does. And clearly like the mother is just a pushover, right? Max's mom is just a pushover,
right?
Which is unfortunate. Billy is actually he's Jason in the Power Rangers. He's the lead Power Ranger in the new Power Rangers movie. I knew I recognized him. Obviously with the hair, like totally different.
Yeah.
But he was very good in Power Rangers too. I like him as an actor. And this obviously is very different from him being like a noble Power Ranger. It's a little different. Now he's like a racist bigot, from the 80s.
Drives very fast.
Drives very fast. Almost runs those kids off the road.
Yeah.
That was fucking terrifying.
That was.
How they shot that. Like, the car was fucking... I don't know if they, like, composited that where, like, the car wasn't actually there, but that was scary. That car was coming fast down the road.
But they do a good job of, even, like, the character you hate the most, like him, giving you some empathy towards him with just one quick scene.
Yep. They do it. This is, like, not really any characters you really... I mean, if there's one character you had to pick, you dislike Billy.
Yes.
Because he's kind of a dick. But it's so weird. Like, in the first season, in the first show, Stranger Things 1, you hate Steve.
Yeah.
And then he comes around pretty quick.
Oh, now he's my favorite.
Yeah, now he's the best. Steve is the fucking best.
What do you think about Bob the Brain?
Okay, so my progression of Bob the Brain, first of all, best nickname in the game, honestly. Bob the
I
Brain.
wonder if they got it from, like, Bobby Heenan.
Bobby the Brain. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. They are big fans of the 80s, these guys, and they stick in all these stories like that. Very well could be. I started off, I thought he was like, I didn't think that Jonathan and Will liked him, but I guess towards the end you kind of find out like they did. Like he was just a nice guy, like totally nice guy.
And he's the one who set up the
AV Club. He was the founder of the AV Club, which I thought was a really nice touch.
That is
like,
cool.
Like wrap into the story. Like talk about like just natural storytelling. Like you want to add in a character named Bob the Brain, right? This character, and like you fit him in like this, and he helps out, and he actually contributes, and then you just wrap him in where like he was the founder of the AV Club. Like what a perfect way to give him to pay tribute to Bob is like, you know, make him the. But so when I started, I thought there was something. I thought there was gonna be something weird about him, but then he's just a genuinely good guy.
Which is kind of cool because I think just from growing up and watching what we've watched and really just seeing what we see in the news, we're unfortunately leaning towards like, all right, this guy's too nice. Like he's a pedophile. He's a maybe not that crazy, but you know what I mean. And he just ended up being a cool guy, smart guy, who really liked Joyce, really liked Will.
Yeah. And Joyce really liked him as well.
Yeah.
Like, he was a good guy, and I really liked that the kids liked him, too, that Will, and, because, like, Will kept saying, or he said it at least once, he was saying that, like, Bob just treats me like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like, Jonathan's
not that I'm
always,
this
like,
guy that...
Yeah, is always treating him differently, and, so.
I do like that they bypassed the learning curve for what's happening with, like, Max and Bob. Like, they didn't be like, oh, I can't believe it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
This is sci-fi. This is... You're in it, you're in it.
Yeah.
So
Lucas,
I kind of like that.
Yeah, Lucas told the story to Max, and then immediately, like, a day later showed her by being in the junkyard with the Demodogs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, perfect. The perfect way to loop in new characters and keep it going. What else we got here?
So what do you think Muse the cat replaced Barb?
Yeah, probably,
even though we knew
guess.
Muse was dead.
I guess. That was a fucking tragic scene, I gotta be honest.
That was awful.
Oh, yeah. Seeing a cat
the only scene I had an issue with was one of the demagogues, like, towards the end, one of the demodogs, like, not attacking them because Dustin had chocolate. I thought that was a little too much.
That was Dart. Yeah, so.
I thought that was a little too much.
Yeah.
I understand you want to tie everything together, but.
Yeah, I know. That's a little. I totally get what you're saying. My big thing was, I guess, if I could say there's one scene I didn't really like was, I understand why they all ran by them because they had more important things to do. They had to try and keep the portal open, right? While Eleven and Hopper were trying to close it.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I get that, but I know what you're saying. Like it was weird that he'd like the dog. He's still a Demogorgon. You know what I mean?
Just because you gave him chocolate. I mean, he ate your cat and he tried to eat Dustin.
Yeah.
Like Dustin had to lock him in the.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
basement
So I don't know. There wasn't really they didn't. Yeah, he was little for a little bit, but there was really no
I feel like he still
connection
had
after that. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. That was a little odd, I guess. Bob the Brain, definitely unsung hero. Did you catch any '80s movies references? Because actually, Holly was texting me about like some of the ones that you guys were picking up on while you were watching it.
So there was one because I watched the Goonies, not recently, but recent enough.
Yeah,
it's kind of fresh in my mind with Bob when he was looking at the map. Something about like pirate treasure. Yeah. Like, oh, what does the X mean? And I read an interview with him and the Duffer Brothers, and they said it was an intentional line to pay homage to the Goonies. Yeah. There were other ones, but I didn't catch them.
Holly picked up a good one when Eleven goes to visit her mom, which is a great scenes as well. Like you learn a little bit about Eleven's mom's past.
So I have a question for you.
A little bit of Rosemary's Baby, which is perfect. That was one that Holly pulled out. What were you gonna say?
So. Is the scientist Eleven's actual dad?
It's a good question. I don't know. Could be.
Because the mom obviously knew who he was.
Yes. So maybe. Could be.
You know?
But the thing is, but the other girl, what was the other girl's name? 8. The one that was number 8. The one in that awesome crew.
Because 11's name is Jane, right?
Yeah, Jane. Didn't the other girl call him Papa as well? Unless he's just like getting all these ladies pregnant.
That's what I'm thinking. Like he gets these ladies pregnant, like disappears, but keeps tabs on them and then steals the babies. It was just odd because like how would the mom recognize him?
No, true. Yeah, right. So maybe.
That was haunting.
Yeah, that was haunting.
When she's like Rainbow.
Who was the Rainbow? One to the left, two to the right, or whatever.
Yeah.
What
450.
That girl, that lady that takes care of her. Who is that? Her aunt, her sister. Is it
I think it's
Eleven's
her aunt.
aunt?
I think so because she was there when she was born too.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I thought her little I thought that episode when 11 went to go visit the girl who has the powers of making things seem like they're real. That was so cool.
That was awesome in the
Yeah.
beginning when the bridge fell.
Yeah.
And the cop stopped and
Yeah.
they zoom out and it's actually fine.
I really hope she comes back for 3 because I think there's so many unique opportunities for her powers to be used.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, when the cops walked in and she just made them seem like they weren't there. That was so cool. And they just walked
And that's
by.
so unique.
Yeah, so unique. So, I'm trying to think like where I've seen that otherwise. There's like some X-Men in
Like
like the
Mind Control.
movies that have that make you think other
not-
things, but there's nothing like this where it materializes in front of you and like that's so
pretty cool.
Very unique. I
Yeah.
love that. That was really cool. One of the 80s movies that I immediately picked out. I'm gonna have to go back online and like look at all the Easter eggs. But when Hopper was first saved from the tunnels that are like expanding and taking over Hawkins, he gets help and he's being led out of the tunnel and he like stops and like leans back in and grabs his hat off the ground, which is like totally Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So immediately I was like, that's exactly what that's from. So, what do you want to see in season 3, or Stranger Things 3?
I need more Steve and Dustin.
Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna have to play on. They're gonna have to go back and do the Steven Justin.
I'm interested to see
Steven Dustin thing.
if Billy's in it at all because I feel like Max is now a part of them.
Yes.
I think clearly like the Upside Down is there. Is it the Mind Flayer?
Yeah. Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer,
Yeah.
that is clearly still all powerful in the
Yep.
Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's gonna find its way back into real world.
Yes.
You know who I really liked? Paul Reiser as the scientist.
Oh yeah. So
He's from Mad. He's a stand-up comedian from Mad About You back in the '90s. Like
Yeah.
he was really good.
and I didn't realize this until I looked it up, but it put 2 and 2 together. He was in Aliens.
Really?
Yeah. So like another 80s movie. It's like they really just.
I
pulled
thought
a
he was
lot of
really
80s
good.
out. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, absolutely.
But I wanted to make sure. I forgot to write that down, but I thought he was really good. I don't know. I mean,
And did you like is his name Perry? The reporter? The guy who Nancy and Jonathan go and visit?
I did.
Did you like,
He's funny.
Kind of crazy.
He does a lot of the Funny or Die stuff, and
Yes. He was
Tommy
another
Baker.
guy that I thought like Bob. I thought he was going to be kind of a weird guy, but he ended up just being like a totally normal, like, well, not normal, but like
he's a conspiracy theorist.
he was a
That
conspiracy
proved right.
theorist, and he was like really working with them and like listening to everything they had to say. And like, I like when shows don't treat other characters like they're idiots.
Right.
Like, I like that. I like that he just like he listened to them. He understood what they were saying. Like, boom, make the plot move on.
Yeah, you don't. Like I said, you don't need to focus on
don't
not
know.
understanding. Oh, look, they're on the same page. Let's go.
That's what, and we'll get into that next. But that's what The Walking Dead does right now. Very, very wrong.
Yeah.
There's whole episodes of misunderstandings. I don't need this. I
Right.
don't need this. Just understand each other. Keep the plot going. We all know.
And you know what?
We're at the audience. We know it's real. It doesn't matter to us. We don't want this conflict.
No, I'm not watching a show to see people argue.
Yeah,
in
no.
season 8, mind you, you've been living in this universe for at least 8 years,
Yes, thank you.
which we'll get to. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly didn't have many thoughts going into Stranger Things 2 as far as predictions or anything
Yeah.
like that, and I was just kind of able to sit back and enjoy because I could have never predicted Steve and Dustin,
Never,
or,
ever.
like a new character like Bob
Yeah.
to come in and really be so essential to the plot.
Which really instills a lot of faith in them going forward. Right now that I like we were saying at the top of the show, I had no idea they were going to make something as good as they did with this number 2.
Yeah.
I never thought they would make it good. So now I'm completely open to whatever they're going to throw at me for season 3. Stranger Things 3. I can't wait.
And we'll trust them. So
Yeah.
if you see so-and-so is going to be a guest star or
Yeah.
plot details leak, you'll trust them first instead of being like, that's stupid, it's not
Yeah.
going to work.
Nope.
And I always thought, like, the sign of a good show is their ability to add new characters in. Like, you can start with a good base, but if you're not able to switch things up and add new characters,
Yeah.
then it's not going to work. And they've already proven they can do this
Yeah.
very, very effectively.
I
So,
agree.
Stranger Things 2, A++.
Very good. Very, very good. All right, you want to talk about Walking Dead?
Let's get into Walking Dead.
Yeah. I have something I want to say about the first one before we get into the second one. At the end of the first episode, was Rick saying a different speech than he did like at the middle of the episode, or was it just repeated? I couldn't tell. You know what I'm talking about? You know how like when before they go out and they go to attack the
The one that, like,
saviors?
Morgan is envisioning?
I guess
this episode?
maybe
When he's saying, like, we have to kill them. We can't keep them.
No, well,
Oh.
I don't know if it was that, but it was the one where he was like, "We've already won. Like we've
Oh.
already." They showed it in the middle of the episode when it happens, like, actually, and then at the end they flash back and show it again. But I feel like they were trying to show me, so I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't catch it. No, I actually watched this episode twice too, because there was some things that.
But anyway, so this one, you wanna, where do you want to start here?
Oh well, so it's episode 2, season 8, called The Damned.
Yeah.
Damned. The MN always gets me.
Damned.
And I have stuff he knows. But directed by Rosemary Rodriguez. This is her second episode. Written by some series veterans. Matthew Negrete. This was his 15th episode. And Channing Powell. This was his 10th episode. The positives. There was really 4... I wrote down 4 stories going on. There was 4 different angles to the same story.
Yeah.
We're still in the War of the Saviors and Rick and his crew. Rick, Ezekiel, and all that.
Yeah.
But we saw it from a bunch of different perspectives. So it's split up with Rick and Daryl, Aaron and Eric, Morgan, Tara, and Jesus, and then Carol and Ezekiel.
Yes.
So they're going for guns, right?
They're going for guns, and I think they're just trying to, like, shut down all their auxiliary, like, operations. I think they're trying to... and another question, quick, before we get into it. Are the saviors that went out to check about the explosion on the road, are they still gone? Or are they like, back? You know what I'm saying?
I think they're gone.
And one of the things is, like, we called them back. Like, one of the saviors says we called them back, like, it's over. Like, I don't know. So they're coming back then.
So I think they were on their way back this episode.
All right.
I did appreciate that we saw a bunch of different people, because I think one thing that The Walking Dead does not do well is the spotlight episodes.
Yeah.
Like last year when they had one on Tara. Mm-hmm. Even the Morgan one was cool, but it's like there's so many other cast members.
Yeah.
To waste a whole episode
on one is crazy.
Is crazy. So there's a lot of different angles to the same action, and really they're using what's his name, the savior turncoat.
Dwight.
His map.
Yes.
Pretty good at making maps.
No, not a bad map.
Yeah.
Not a bad map.
So one of the storylines is Rick and Daryl. And what I thought they did effectively in this episode was merge 2 of the timelines from episode 1 of this season. So in episode 1, they had kind of what's happening literally right now. And then there was a flash forward just a little bit to Rick a couple times.
Yeah.
And he looks kind of distressed and sweating, and he clearly just was in some type of scuffle.
Yes.
And then you had Old Man Rick in the future.
Yeah.
In this one, we merge the present to that second timeline, which I think is when Rick kills that guy and then discovers that he had a baby in that room.
Oh, right.
Because that camera shot after he looks at himself in the mirror is the same shot from episode 1. And I thought it was a shot of, like, triumph in episode 1, but it's clearly not.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty brutal kill.
Mm-hmm. That was brutal.
Throwing him through that bookshelf thing.
Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah. I can't get a read on Rick this season. He, like, at times he has, like, old Rick, like, to him, but then, like, other times he's, like, still, like, just broken and, like, I don't know, not having a good time with himself. I don't know.
I like the actor. I like Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job playing it.
Yeah.
My favorite Rick is Crazy Rick.
Yeah.
Like psychotic Rick, but that can't be his every...
Yeah, no,
you wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
Not only you can't survive as a leader.
Yes. No one would believe you. No one would believe
you.
You
just murder everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Even though that's his best self.
Yes.
You can't. It's not. You can't do it all the time.
Yeah,
it only works because you do it once in a while.
Yeah.
I thought it was really powerful having Daryl go back and see where he was held captive and ate the dog food.
Yep.
That was big. Norman Reedus is just awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's a really good facial actor.
Mm-hmm.
He
doesn't say much.
In eight seasons, like, can you remember like a powerful Daryl monologue?
No.
Like,
never.
he acts with his face and his body language.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. So I thought that was cool, and he didn't say a word. My favorite shot of the episode was from Rick and Daryl's adventure. It was Rick walking in the darkness. It was in the dimly lit hallway with the gun, going room by room, and then he comes into the light.
Yeah.
That was really well done.
Yeah,
and that's before he ends up brawling with the guy and killing him.
This episode, directed by Rosemary Rodriguez, she's only done 2 episodes. Is that including this one?
Yeah.
So it was. You can tell that this was a very different episode than the normal directors they have for it. It was very unique. They did a lot of close up on everybody's faces as they were going through like their little journey in this episode. I thought it was really well done, and it actually felt like something different and something new and fresh. So I liked that a lot.
I agree.
And that played into a lot with that scene you're talking about with him walking into the light.
Yeah.
I thought that was like something that was like totally new and fresh and like different from what The Walking Dead usually shoots.
Absolutely. Because it kind of started, right? Like real
close-ups
on Rick, Daryl, everyone else, Ezekiel
Yeah.
coming out of the smoke. So kudos to Rosemary Rodriguez. I thought she did a great job. I didn't realize it at first. Holly knew right away. Morales.
I knew that there was something about him, and I had to go back and look it up and see who he was from from the first season.
Because he kind of looked like Carol's husband. I know he's dead, but
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess he's a savior now, and he's calling the saviors back to where Rick is.
It's over Rick.
Yeah, which is
When he said that, I knew like either like I was like, oh, I guess it would be too weird for that savior to know Rick, but I guess that wouldn't be too far of a stretch for the saviors to know who Rick is. You know what I mean? The leader of the crew they're going against.
Right.
But yeah, then I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, I guess no. Unless you're like my mom knew. Like, my mom knew exactly who Morales was. So
She has, like, a picture on her bedroom wall.
Yeah, she knew exactly who he was. So I wasn't surprised at that. So, just when we thought Morgan was going to be, like, a pacifist, this episode, he's just running around murdering people. Just, like, straight up
murdering
cold
people.
blood murdering people without hesitation.
While hearing voices in his head.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Not good. And then he's, like, trying to convince everybody else we need to kill these people. We can't keep them alive. They need to die. And then I guess he must have passed it off to Jesus. Jesus is being a little too kind. A little too kind with this guy. And then he like flips and almost fucking kills Jesus. And then Tara and they take him down. And then they leave him alive. Right? He ends up staying alive, that guy? Yeah. What the fuck?
So what's with the Morgan can't die thing?
That's weird. I don't know. He says, I can't die. I really don't understand what that is. I think he's just maybe losing his mind, and he's like, I don't know, Morgan. Someone needs to sit Morgan down and be like, Morgan, like, you know you can die, right? This is not. What do you think he meant by that?
I don't know. I really think he's cracking. Because I'm assuming he got shot in his shield.
Yeah,
because he like spun.
Yeah,
which is lucky because the other two were just very dead.
Yes.
But for him, and I understand. Actually, I don't understand. For him to still be going through this crisis of faith. Of life is precious, or should I be a murderer? It's like, look, it's season 8. Like we need, like you said, we need people to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't mind if Rick and Negan are arguing.
Yeah.
But I do mind if Tara and Jesus are arguing.
Yes.
You're on the same team. You've seen this guy brutally murder everyone.
Yeah.
It's an unnecessary plot point. You have more material. You have more characters. You don't need to keep writing these. Life is precious. No, it's not. We should kill him.
I almost wonder if that's what is that what the creators like and the writers like think we want? Like, no, we want Rick and their crew to run over the saviors,
right?
And fucking take Negan prisoner. Like, that's what we want.
And also, you can't go back from last season when they shot everyone in their sleep.
Yes, yeah, you can't.
So now life is precious.
Yeah,
but when everyone's sleeping, we can shoot them in the head with silencers.
That is just like there's no parity to the way they are merciful and the way they are just cutthroat killers.
Yeah.
There's no parity to it. So don't pretend like there is. Jesus, listen, you've done some shitty shit in your life too. Well, all right? I mean, maybe you didn't shoot anybody, but like, I mean, it's just like, it's just such a stupid thing. Like, like, you could have used that time for anything else.
Yeah.
Show us Gabriel.
Right.
Show us
Gabriel and Negan.
Show us Gabriel and Negan. We want that.
Or Maggie.
Yeah, anything.
Maggie and Gregory,
anything except for another 15 minutes of Tara and Jesus deciding whether or not they're going to kill the guy.
When I'm rooting for Tara, you've done something wrong.
The Walking Dead's off the rails.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
I should never be rooting for Tara. And then you have Carol and Ezekiel, which wasn't bad. I mean, cool. Shiva's back.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
Shiva, right?
Yeah. Shiva. Yeah. I really like King Ezekiel. I just can't keep a straight face, and I think this is the point. But you can't keep a straight face when he's talking to his people. Like, no. I just can't. He's like, "Oh, today is the day. The day is won." Like talking like a medieval king.
Talking like it rhymes.
I can't. I don't buy it. I don't buy him as a character. Like, seriously, I laugh and I smile when he's in the episode.
He's like a king on like a Broadway show.
Right. they must realize that, right? They're not trying to pass him off as like he's like
This general.
this leader, the king.
I can't
Like,
imagine.
Right? They can't be actually trying to pass him off as that. It just has to be. It's comedy. It's levity a little bit. I mean, he is. In the scenes he in is serious. Like he's killing walkers and killing people and stuff. And like Shiva obviously is fucking awesome having a tiger.
Yeah.
But I don't. When he talks, it just kills me. It's like my skin crawls.
Something's
it's like
off.
it's like cringy, but to the point where it's like I can laugh at and watch it. I still love Carol. I think Carol's one of the best characters on the show. She's always been the character where, and even like last season when she was trying to be a hermit, like she's always like to the point. Like she's gonna kill people. She knows when she has to. She knows when she doesn't have to.
Right.
It's the end of it.
I like her, and she's really come the farthest from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. There's nobody even close.
I did like the part when they were like in the battle, and you didn't hear who said it, but they're all Ezekiel and Carol, and all Ezekiel's people are like fighting, and someone goes, "Protect the king!" And he goes, "Protect yourselves!"
That's what I'm talking about. That's like
I died laughing.
Protect yourselves.
Protect yourselves. It is. It's kind of like a little bit of
that's funny. That was really good. That was
Yeah.
protect the king. Protect yourselves. Oh, that's good.
So I'm hoping this Sunday we get. They have to go back to Gabriel and Negan,
right?
Maggie.
Yep.
But I mean, they did a good job. Like I understand you can't fit literally every character into an episode. That's fine.
Yeah.
When you have 15 main characters. But I wanted to talk about the Aaron and Eric part.
Yep.
Is Aaron really surprised Eric got shot? I mean, how many bullets came his way?
Yeah, no.
I mean, it stinks. Like, I like them together, but you can't be like, oh, how? Well, I don't know. I mean, they've been shooting at you for an hour.
Yeah. I thought one of the more clever things was like when the saviors were like, they're not moving. We can push up on them and take them down. And like, I was like, oh, like there's got to be a reason why they're not pushing in. And it's like, we don't need to push in. It's like, we just need to wait and like wait them out.
And they all
until-
turned into walkers. Yeah. That was actually very cool.
But that girl that was like, oh shit, like she noticed like them turning the walker. She was just sitting behind the car and she just let the walker crawl over to her and like bite her in the neck. And she just didn't do anything to stop it.
She was almost like in shock.
She didn't like fight it away.
Right.
Like, she was just like, ah.
It's like still coming.
Yeah. It's like
just move.
It's like the scene from Austin Powers with the steamroller. When he's like yelling to the guy's screaming, and he's like 20 feet away.
Get out of the way!
Go, move! Oh, that's great. But yeah, so Eric, rest in peace.
Goodbye, sweet friend.
R.I.P. NP.
But yeah, we got episode 3 coming up, and no, I mean I
can't hate on the action.
No.
I can't hate compared to last season. This season is off to the start of last season was great.
Yeah,
but so far like. Average, like the average of the 2 episodes, only 2 episodes so far. It's been a lot better than
it has
than the last season. So can't hate on that. But there is still typical Walking Dead issues, which I can overlook. I'm so like invested in Walking Dead at this point. I'm gonna watch it because I'm so invested in all the characters.
Right, and you know it does make it harder. Like it's tough to compare it to shows that haven't been on that long.
Yeah,
because I mean they've had 6, maybe 6.5. Quality years as a TV show.
Absolutely.
You know, the end of last year was a little
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
That's a lot of episodes. I mean, they're 20 episode seasons? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of TV. So they're gonna obviously go through peaks and valleys. There's no show in the history of television that has gone on for that long. It just has been perfect.
Yeah.
So
and what I'm really looking forward to now, which is strange, but I'm waiting for like when they announce like the last season.
Yeah.
Because the lead up to the last season and the last season is probably gonna be spectacular. Because we're gonna be like they're gonna wrap up storylines. There's probably gonna be a killing off of a lot of characters in very emotional ways. So that would be interesting too. So I'm invested. I'm still gonna watch all the episodes. Obviously,
I am too.
So, speaking of invested, want to talk about the Deuce now?
Yeah.
Episode 1.8, the season finale.
Yeah.
Of the Deuce, fucking went by too fast. My Name is Ruby, which after you watch the episode brings a whole new meaning to this episode name.
That was heartbreaking.
Directed by Michelle MacLaren, who also directed episode 1. And then who is George?
He's the co-creator.
Pelicanos. Okay, what other things has he done?
So he's done The Wire. He's done Trem. Like him and David Simon collaborate.
His name is so familiar looking.
Let me see what else.
So anyway, he wrote it. George
Pelicanos.
and David Simon, the creator of the show.
Yeah, so
wrote
they
this
were
episode.
co-creators. They collaborate together a lot. What else says he?
He looks the name like I've seen it on a million things. So he did The Wire.
Yep.
Okay.
Trim. Let's see what else he's written.
Well, anyway, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's basically just The Wire.
HBO stuff.
Yeah, all HBO stuff. Him and David Simon are like lifelong collaborators, and they're just awesome.
So I didn't realize this, but you have this down here in the outline. So Deep Throat was a very famous porno movie.
So Deep Throat was in. I read an interview with Pelicanos, David Simon, and Alan Sepinwall, who reviews for Uprocks, and Deep Throat in the 70s, like. They thought it was going to be mainstream. Like, they thought you were going to be able to make, like, artistic porno movies and market them like feature films.
Yeah.
So Deep Throat was the first one. It was this huge deal. Deep Throat premiered in early June of 1972.
Okay.
And when that took off, it was a very short-sighted thought process. Obviously, pornography is not mainstream.
Yeah.
But it like, wiped out prostitution. Because people were like, look, I can be a movie actress.
Yeah.
And do pornos.
Yeah.
And Deep Throat was like the first huge, like they had actual like premieres, like red carpet premieres.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mind-boggling.
That's a hell of a thing. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing.
But yeah, so that it was kind of a cool cap to this series because, and they in the interview they said they started it where they started it because they wanted to kind of show the tail end of the prostitution era before they got into the next chapter, which is pornography.
All right.
Which I thought they did a really good job of.
Yeah.
And where this episode kicks off, I thought one of the big themes was the declining power of the pimps and kind of how they're going to have to transition. I really like the scene in the diner with Rodney, Larry Brown, and Cece.
Yeah.
And they're like looking at all the girls that Reggie Love had. Like, geez, he's still warm.
Yeah.
And they're trying to take his girls.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
That was funny. He was, I forget who said it. Cece was like, he was right there, laid on the greasy tiles, probably still talking, saying whatever. And he's like, how'd you know he was talking? I was like, he never shut up. That's what that was good.
They did. He had a line, Rodney. They were like, oh, you like that girl? And he's like, oh, the one with the goalposts? And she had like the space energy. It's like they have that like witty humor, that really good dialogue.
Yeah.
And there was one of my favorite actors, Clark Peters. He was like the older pimp at the bar that Cece was talking to.
Yeah.
So he played Lester, who was a detective in The Wire. He's like a huge character in the show.
Okay.
Really, really good actor. David Simon and Pelicanos love him, use him in all their shows. But he had a very small role, but a very, I thought, important role for the episode, where Cece kind of saw his future, and I think it scared the shit out of him.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Like, he didn't want to be that mild-mannered guy. Like, he wanted to be the guy who, struck fear in people and worked the street. Like, that's what he wanted to do. But I think he also saw the other side of it with what, I think they called him Ace.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. I didn't really
And I think he saw that life with Lori.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think he wants that life. I think
No, I don't think he wants that life. I think he still wants, because you saw, like, when he first walked up to him, he was, like, proud of, like, he's like, I'm taking him to my personal place, like, showing him some love, like, if you want to control their body, control their mind, and, like, they clink glasses, and he thought he was going to be like, yeah, man, like, I'm all about it, like, you're doing great, and he didn't get that. The guy was like, oh, my knees are all fucked up, like, I'm out of the game, like, it's great, like, I'm relaxing, like...
Yeah, and he even says, he's like, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, the parlors are opening,
But Cece doesn't want to hear it.
No.
And you can tell, like, even when Cece first put Lori in the porno movie, when he first put her in the porno movie, it was Lori, right?
Yeah.
When he first put her in the porno movie, he wasn't, like, very nice to
Candy and
Rodney, not Rodney, what the hell, Harvey.
Harvey.
But he was just asking for
demanding
more
money from everybody.
He didn't understand how it worked.
Right.
But now he's going to be the one on the outside, and he's not going to be able to walk into a place like that and demand money anymore.
No.
Especially now that the parlors all open.
That's why they're
with, like, the
losing
mob running the parlors.
Yeah, they're losing their control.
Yeah.
And they don't strike me as people who adjust very well.
No, but Rodney and who's the other?
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown didn't seem too concerned when they were in the.
No.
Or at least not at first, right?
But then again, like, Rodney was also Larry Brown was trying to get into, like, buying drugs.
Right. Yeah.
Immediately gets
True.
busted.
So yeah.
It
Yep.
has-
Not great. Not great. Not a
Immediately.
great start. Not a great.
So I don't know.
start.
I mean, I think they're gonna have a lot of issues moving on from that life.
Yeah.
And then like the cap off of the pimp's declining power, unfortunately, is the scene with Ruby
Yeah.
because she had no protection anymore.
She had no protection, and she got pushed right out the window.
And that actually really happened.
What?
So Ruby's based on a real prostitute called Thunder Thighs.
Really?
And the hi-hat. She died by getting pushed out the window, fell through the awning of the hi-hat.
Oh shit.
The hi-hat was a real bar in
Wow.
Manhattan.
Damn.
Which is why I always love, like, whenever I see David Simon take something on, it's always based on real life.
Yeah.
Like, The Wire was based on the Baltimore drug trade. And, like, the characters they had, like Omar, I'm sure you've heard of Omar.
Yes.
He was a real guy.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it's really cool how they do it. And they had, on HBO Go, they have a little, like, 2 to 3 minute thing with Pelicanos and Simon. And they were talking about how, Thunder Thighs was a real woman who that's how she died.
Yeah.
And it's really because she didn't have that backup anymore. That guy was obviously a psychopath. But,
Yes.
it was too bad. And
I
then,
didn't like it, so I don't have to pay.
yeah. And then it's like, whatever he called her, and he's like, my name is Ruby.
Yeah. No.
That was tough.
Nope.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah. As soon as she said that, I was like, oh.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I didn't know. I didn't expect you to get pushed out the window.
No, me neither. I thought she was going to like get like shot or stabbed
Yeah.
or something, but yeah, I didn't expect out the window. Let's talk about Vincent. Let's talk about Frankie and Bobby. So I had no idea that by the end of this season that I would be a way bigger fan of Frankie than I am of Vincent. I'm actually not a huge fan of Vincent at this point.
Nah.
He had one awesome redeeming scene in this when he walked into the pool hall
Yeah.
and smashed that guy
And
across
he's, like,
the face.
weighing the pool sticks?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all right, which
no,
one's
not
heaviest?
this one, not
Yeah.
this one. I thought that was awesome.
That was really cool.
But fucking Vincent not Vincent, Frankie, really doing well for himself and being very reliable with Rudy. Like Rudy clearly likes him and
Yep.
Bobby, likes
Yeah.
Bobby too, because they've been doing such a great job with the parlor. So they want to open up this new space where the first floor is all the masturbatoriums, which is it's so hilarious. I love that. And how about the scene with? I don't want to get off track, but how about the scene with Big Mike
In the cartoon?
in the cartoon? And
I
they're
thought
just,
he was going to
dying
put in,
laughing.
like, a gay one.
Yeah.
Like
just-
the movie he saw the episode before
Oh, right, yeah.
with the girl.
Yeah, you
I
put it
didn't
in
get
the
the
cartoon.
plot.
The cartoon was just like right. There was no callback there. It was just him.
Yeah, I think it was just like a
just-
innocent
just-
joke.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
That was
And,
really cool.
To show how they, it was like, and he gave Frankie gave credit to Big Mike. It was like,
Yeah.
this is you, man. Like, this is all you, all because of you. You
Yep.
dreamed it. He kept saying, you
Yeah.
dreamed it. You dreamed it. So then now, Rudy they leased another building. It's 3 floors. They want to put a parlor on the 2nd floor, VIP on the 3rd floor, which they added a VIP to their regular one.
With the mirror on the ceiling.
Yeah, with the mirror on the ceiling. And Frankie's like, that was my idea.
Yeah,
That was my idea.
That was my idea.
And talking about how I love how they were talking about A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
But they kept calling it Midsummer.
Midsummer's Dream?
Yeah, Midsummer's Dream.
Yeah, it's based on the play.
Yeah, that was cool. And they want to put on the 1st floor. They want to put all the masturbatoriums. Which I still fucking love.
Which
saying
is
that. It just
really
rolls off
a
the tongue.
good idea.
Yeah, and they're apparently taking in a lot of money. And how about the guy that collects the money for all the real machines? They're all making sure they keep all the change separately so they know which porn movies do better than others. So they can tell the porn directors when you need to do lesbian scenes, you need to do
This
interracial,
girl?
you
Yeah.
need to, yeah. How about that? That was fucking, ingenious. I
They
love
pay
guys
the little details that
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
you
yeah.
appreciate, because they could easily just do
Yeah.
whatever, but they really are sticklers for facts and how it was really done.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing where you could have spent that 2 minutes that they had to. The guy was explaining the different porns and how they're taking in different money. You could have used that 2 or 5 minutes on something completely nonsense, just fluff piece. But instead, you add that, and you add so much to the story.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome. But yeah, Rudy and Frankie, I fucking love Frankie.
I do too.
love Frankie.
And Vincent, because the thing with Vincent is, all right, it's one thing if you want to get out, you don't want to be part of the parlor game. Yeah, you took the bar job, but he worked at a bar before, so that's understandable. And now he doesn't want to get into the parlor game. But then he actually uses Tommy to find out if the guy who's beaten his ex-wife is a made guy.
Yeah.
So he's still relying on them for info and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's you can't have it both ways.
I don't understand why he matters. I don't understand why Rudy needs him on board for this. Clearly, Frankie and Bobby have been doing a great job. He said it. He's like, here's your cut for my cut. He's like,
I think it might
"You
be out of
guys-"
respect. Like he's been so loyal to him.
Right, but I mean, I guess if Vincent just wants to do the bar and keeps bringing in money for Rudy that way, I guess I don't really see like what the big deal was and why Vincent needed to say "fuck you" to Rudy. I thought that was going to go poorly,
Yeah.
but again, like Rudy's just like he'll come around.
Yeah.
He's a very easygoing mob guy, right?
is.
He's a very easy-made man.
Again, going against the stereotype, which I like.
Yeah, I like that. I really like Rudy as a character too.
I do too.
Mr. Piccolo, love it.
He was supposed to be Tony Soprano.
No way.
So-
but he was the leader of the family, the New York family in The Sopranos.
Yeah, but
Well-
they said, like, because originally they were going to do The Sopranos a little lighter, which you can see.
Yeah.
Like, he was more like a happy-go-lucky mob boss, but James Gandolfini was like the like cerebral, intense mob boss.
Yeah.
But so he ended up playing Jackie Aprile.
Yes, yeah. Which is a small role, but
But yeah,
A little
he
smaller than-
wasn't like as intense as what they wanted Tony to be.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, especially seeing him now as Rudy.
what's going on?
Nothing much.
We got a late bloomer here, Rob Emma.
Rob
you
Emma.
want to hop on? You want to hop on the mic and say hello?
Yeah, how are you? How are you?
Good.
Feeling good right now, boys.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's all Mike Cesario.
Oh, nice.
No, I had to stop over there really quick. And one of my buddies. And John, we had a good conversation. I'm sorry, you were talking about The Sopranos?
No, well, we were talking about The Sopranos because we watched this new show, The Deuce. Do you watch it on the HBO?
Tell me what it's about.
It's about
Like prostitution and pornography.
So, I don't know if this was what I was watching, but when I was in Tampa the other night,
James
know-
Franco's in it. He plays twin brothers.
how long is it? I'm not too sure, but it was about prostitutes. And Franco may have been in it, but I think it was more than an hour long.
They're usually like 70 minutes.
Yeah.
It might have been
The episodes?
because the end. I even said to myself, "Wow, it might have been." Is it like a yellow, like foggy background, like when you're watching it? Okay, just keep. I'm sorry, guys.
Was it on
So
HBO?
here I come in.
Was it
and
on
it's like-
was it on HBO?
Yeah, it was. That's what I
it must.
meant.
It probably
must
was
have
it.
Because
yeah.
I was just saying to myself, that's what I meant. This fucking hotel I don't know what the hell their problem was, but like all 5 of their 100 channels apparently work. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be HBO. I'm gonna watch some like horror movie, and here's this fucking show. It might have been, it might have been it. It was about prostitutes. One's a real asshole, screwed one over. Real nasty stuff. But I'm now talking on my ass, and I'm super high. So
Do you know what the worst thing about hotel TVs are?
Oh, don't
You know what
get
I
me
fucking
started.
hate? No, listen.
What?
So
Yeah.
this is a real gripe I have. I go to a hotel, right, and I say I'm staying there for like 5 days. First night, I'm like scrolling through the channels, trying to get a lay of the land to see what's on and what channels they have. I find a channel I like or like a group of channels I like, and I shut off the TV. The next day, I go to put it on, and it brings it back to that fucking starting channel, and I have no idea what channels I was on. You know what I mean? Like a normal TV, you shut it off, you turn it back
Wait.
on, you're on the same channel you left it on.
It goes back to the default.
It goes back to like the weather, the thing, like the hotel.
the
like-
channels don't make sense.
No, and the channels make no sense.
No, but let me tell you, I think I got one up on that one.
What?
How about a hotel without a guide?
Oh yeah, no, forget.
Like
it.
that's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
like
forget
they're
it.
still using Ox. Like
I
no,
don't
it
understand
wasn't-
how you can do that in 2017.
And this was a pretty good hotel. This was
forget
a
it.
pretty good hotel.
Forget it.
Can you believe it? Sorry, I didn't mean to trump you on that.
No,
one,
that's all
but
right.
I know what that feeling. I was on United the other day, and like, I can believe it. Fucking things just it will either if you don't put your credit card in, right, you're just watching the same thing over and over.
The
again.
domestic
Just
airlines
ads,
suck.
yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. All right. Oh,
Yeah, let's wrap up. We'll wrap up the Deuce. We're almost done, and then we'll have a little chat. All right, Rob.
yeah. I love to talk about anything. I'm hot tonight.
So Candy,
Big episode for her.
huge episode for Candy. I really liked it. Harvey again, like another like great character, like just like letting him. He's like when he shows up late, he's like, "Oh, you were directing all these scenes today," and she's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You'd think like he'd be like, oh, like I didn't want you to do that or whatever," but then
We'll step
like,
aside or whatever.
yeah, he's like, "No, we'll finish doing it.
Finish it up.
Finish doing it.
It's your movie.
Yeah, I love that they went to the premiere together.
Yeah.
it was awesome.
She looked
It was
so happy.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, so happy.
A lot of good background work when she meets her brother, who's
Yes.
in like a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah, they did a good job of painting the picture without like just like telling you.
And it makes sense why she would hate her dad now. So her dad basically hates her for being a prostitute and hates her brother to the point where he's getting electric shock therapy because he's gay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, why wouldn't you hate your father for that? So,
I was
ahead.
watching that.
yeah,
Yep.
he was like shaking.
Yeah, and he said about the father, if you want to get back at him, the most, and he was crying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buzzcut.
Yeah.
Schaefer.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I was watching that. And who's the girl? She's
Maggie
very-
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that's what I was watching.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, the background of her, she was a prostitute.
Yes, and she became the director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she ended up being the director of the porno. Did a great job.
Yeah. I love how she was like really taking it like she's like this is like no, the action is watching the dick going to the girl.
Oh,
not-
You don't start at the
you
vagina.
don't start at the vagina. You start the dick. That's the action.
Right.
You fuck. I loved it. Yeah.
It
Can
was
I ask
really-
you guys a question
Yeah.
though? Oh, I forgot it, and it was because I didn't watch the shows previous to it. Oh yeah, when they're at that premiere, right? There's a colored couple, a mixed couple.
So that's Cece. He's a pimp.
Okay,
And his
okay.
girl is
Lori.
Lori.
and the only girl.
So she is in some of the pornos that Harvey's been doing. And so that's why he was there with her. He wanted to because she's an actress, you know, she's a porno actress. So, but he is just kind of a dick pimp or Mac, whatever. So
And they
he
didn't have a
And
VIP ticket.
Did
Yeah.
they push that lady, the big lady, out the window because they were trying to show someone some authority, or is that just
no, that was just some like guy that hired her, like, cause she's a prostitute,
Okay.
hired her, and then like at the end of it, when she very graphically wiped cum off her stomach.
Yes. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
So she's like, cleaning herself up, and then
was-
she sees in the mirror that he's pulling money out of her purse, and she's like, "What are you doing? That's my money." And he's like, "Well, I didn't like the experience, so I'm taking the money.
I hate
I don't
that.
have to pay
That
for
made
it."
me sick.
So then he calls her something.
and then
She's
he
like,
said,
"My
"I'm
name is
Ruby."
Ruby." Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she pushes him up.
So if you what they did in this episode was they kind of showed the slow downfall of the power of like pimps. Like pimps used to have control, but once the cops and the mob started cleaning up prostitution in favor of massage parlors and stuff like that, the pimps lost all control, which ended up hurting the prostitutes too because now the Johns, like that guy who's stealing her money,
Yeah.
he's like, you don't have a pimp to back you up anymore, so I can shove you out this window and nobody's gonna touch me.
Yeah.
So that was the finale.
Because Ruby was having trouble because when you put someone like her inside of a parlor, she was saying how she was having trouble because no one was coming in and picking her, like, because out of the lineup. You know what I mean? But when you're on the street, you see everybody, and you see all clientele and all these guys that like would be into her don't necessarily go into the parlors. So it was better for her to make money on the street, but she didn't have protection because now the pimps are dropping their girls off at the parlor and cruising out for the night. And
And the parlor's really not that much better. I mean, people are
No.
still ODing,
Yeah.
it's not...
yeah.
It's really not safer. You're just indoors.
Yeah. Who's the guy that shot Reggie Love at the end of last episode? The guy,
Leon.
Leon. So we didn't see Leon this episode. So we
I believe
assume he's
I believe he was in jail.
Damn, that's too bad.
I was hoping he'd get away
Yeah,
with it,
me
like
too.
somehow, like
Yeah, maybe we'll
understand.
see him again, but it's too bad. He was a good character. I like.
He's a very good actor. I think I said last week, but he was Slim Charles in The Wire.
Right. Yeah. I need to watch The Wire because now all these like. I
And
need to watch
I'll
The
tell you
Wire.
what, if you appreciate the little stuff in The Deuce,
Yeah.
you're gonna appreciate it in The Wire.
Yeah.
They just do those little things really well.
Yeah.
Side note,
Yep.
since we were talking about candy,
Yep.
would you want to be on a live porn set?
I always thought about this. If there wasn't such a stigma around like your porn being nasty, icky, like whatever.
No, nobody knows.
It depends because I've seen some porns that I don't think I'd want to be on the set
No.
for, but other ones I'd be like, all right, yeah, like I could
This is
I could
nice.
do this, yeah. But I don't know, like the set they were on with Harvey and everything, that seems like a good time.
Seems like a fun
Yeah,
set.
Seems like a legitimate good time.
Everybody
Like,
got along.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it would really depend. It would be a case by case basis. Would you ever want to be?
I
on
don't
a-
think so.
No,
No.
just not.
It's
not
not my
a
thing.
for you. Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess I would be interested. I guess as a person who was like very interested in filmmaking, I would be interested to see how it differs. Listen,
What the fuck? This guy
I would
comes in, his girl's upstairs. This is crazy.
what? What does that have to do with anything?
Oh,
No,
I'm
I
saying-
didn't say be part of it. I just
I'm
said be on the
saying-
set.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? This guy wouldn't. You're nuts.
No, I'm saying like as a fan of filmmaking and the
wanna be
process
there.
and the technology.
I don't want to.
I would be interested to see how it's done differently from a
finished
movie
product.
set, which
Yeah,
I've worked
yeah,
on as well.
yeah.
So I'd like to see. And
You
honestly,
wouldn't look at
more
Blu-ray
sense.
or
I always
anything.
think like when I see a porno, I'm always like, I wonder how much planning goes into these scenes, or how much is just like, let's just go.
Let's go.
Let's just go for it.
Get behind the balls.
So I thought that would be interesting. So yeah, I think I might. I think I would have to choose which one I'd be
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
That's fair.
like obviously I don't want to be on where like there's a lot of weird shit flying around and yeah.
Yeah, horses.
Probably not.
And then the I think the weakest storyline of the season was probably Alston and the police corruption. Not throughout it wasn't. It just kind of ended with a dud.
Yeah.
Which I guess the cool thing is they're very realistic with their storylines.
Yeah.
So it would kind of make sense that they wouldn't just blow up police corruption.
So get this straight for me. Alston decided not to give the reporter, forget her name, the story because the new chief decided he wanted to keep the. He's like, we got to keep the corruption on the inside. Like, we're gonna clean it up, but we can't. It's got to stay on the inside. Yeah. And then he kind of semi bribes him, being like, "Where do you want to be after all the dust settles?" He's like, "Detective Bureau." I know that's shooting high, and he doesn't say anything. He just walks away.
But I kind of trust that guy.
Yeah, I do. I do trust that guy because he seems like he's a semi straight shooter. But sometimes, and there's a lot of evidence for this. Sometimes, in order to fix corruption like that, you have to kind of bury things. You have to bury things and move on from it. Yeah. So I think that he's doing the best he can in this. Yeah,
is going to help.
No, I think he's trying to do the best he can in the scenario. Also, it's not going to, regardless if he came on or not, it's not going to reflect good on him. So he's trying to.
But how can a black guy trust him? His partner kind of sold him out.
Well, his partner
he did it. He did it for his own good. He really did it for his own good. He didn't sell him out. Or anything.
I thought he was a little crazy. The journalist, the one who was given the information to.
Yeah.
That was a little unprofessional. The whole situation.
Well, she was sleeping with him, and
yeah.
There was a lot of lines crossed.
Now I guess we'll figure out if she actually
really
likes him or not.
I hope this guy I like the storyline's pretty cool.
He's a good actor too.
Yeah, he is.
He was Bob in The Walking Dead. He was also in The Wire.
Who was in The Wire? Bubbles?
No, he was begins with a D.
Shit, I forget.
He was one of the Barksdale. D'Angelo Barksdale. Yeah. He meets a not too nice fate.
Okay.
Put it that way. But a cool thing is, and it just brought me flooding back to The Wire, David Simon ends every season with montages. He did it all 5 seasons of The Wire. He did it here in the finale. Yeah. It's kind of a montage of
you see where
showing you where each character's at, which I love because when season 2 picks up, although from the interview I read, season 2 is going to feature a big time jump.
Really? How did they say how big?
They didn't say how big. But it's really jumping into prostitution's basically done. So they're saying they're going to have to leave a lot of characters behind.
Wow.
And then obviously add some new ones. One of the cool tidbits, which I didn't recognize on first viewing, but I got in the interview on HBO Go after, Candy, when they were showing the montage and she was directing the movie, was wearing Ruby's leopard
So how
jacket.
did she get it? You just assume that maybe she got it from the cops or whatever.
She got over dead body.
Yeah. Imagine she walks over.
That was kind of a heartbreaking scene too. Yeah. She's so happy going to the premiere, Ruby, and
yeah. I thought something was gonna bad happen right.
She's gonna get shot.
Yeah, right. It had that weird vibe, but then it makes sense. It's just a little foreshadow.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy with that we decided to watch The Deuce.
I am too.
I'm glad we didn't miss out on this because it's really a good show.
And it's a good change of pace with you're gonna have the Stranger Things of the world and the Mindhunters where you're binging them in a day or two.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to have those shows where you can sit back and reflect on each episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
to kind of have both of those in our arsenal, and then
HBO does it so well.
They do.
In a world where binging is the new hotness, HBO still makes appointment television, which is crazy in 2017.
It really is.
So yeah, it really is. And they really do they're one of the only networks that does, companies that does, it's really appointment television. Game of Thrones, everybody is watching.
I watch Game of Thrones on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So next week, we're done with The Deuce. We're done with Stranger Things 2. So we're going to keep going with Walking Dead. And then we'll keep adding in our People versus the Internet. Mm-hmm. And whatever else may come up.
Yeah. It's awesome. Brian, thank you. Rob, thank you. It's crazy that Rob watched the last episode. You were able to...
we're talking about perfect timing.
Yeah, that's wild.
Let me tell you something kind of funny. I'm down in Tampa, taking a walk to get a lighter, and then I got to eat, so I found this Mission Barbecue type place. And that's what it was called, actually. I went in there. I asked the girl. I told her what I wanted, and then this other crazy girl just came and gave me a bunch of different sides, for free. I don't know why she did.
Sure, was a restaurant play?
I don't know. Maybe
Here,
not.
eat this.
It could have been me, but long story short, the reason why I really did go to HBO instead of hooking my laptop up was I was looking for a horror show, horror movie.
Okay.
So it is kind of interesting that
Yeah.
I caught you guys on the back
That
end.
is funny.
Have you been into the horror movies?
Oh, I love Chucky's and I love Halloween. But I recently watched the first Chucky. It was amazing.
You got to get Shudder.
Shudder.
Shudder is it's like Netflix for horror movies.
Yeah, I do like them, but let me
Yeah.
tell you, there's a lot of crappy horror movies.
Oh yeah, that's what Shudder specializes in.
So
It's like-
I'm not
Are
into
you
those. No,
Okay,
no.
How do you feel about? Did you see the news about they're remaking the Halloween? They're doing a new Halloween movie and they're bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis for next year.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think
you
that's
know
cool, too.
what? Like I love when they. Yeah, I love it. You know,
Especially now, there's so much care being given to different properties. So you look at like it being remade. It's so good.
I heard it was. I
Yeah,
want to see that.
Yeah, it's very good. So I think that they're going to do a
Is it
good job
scary?
with this too. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
scary. Yeah,
I haven't seen a
definitely.
good scare in a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So.
All right.
All right, let's end it there. Thanks for everybody for listening. Just like Ryan said and all the other stuff, we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about Walking Dead. We'll continue to talk about Walking Dead, and then I don't know what else are we gonna. We'll continue on Walking Dead, and we'll continue our People versus the Internet. We'll do all our regular.
And we can add in
segments.
like the what we're watching.
Yeah.
Just quick tidbits.
Sprinkle it in.
Which I want to talk about Curb next week.
Oh yes, yeah. We'll catch them on Curb next week. Absolutely. I'll watch
Oh,
up.
I watched a new one of those.
It's
too.
great, right?
Oh my god.
Dude, you should call in and leave a voicemail for when you're not here,
Hey,
because I know
use
you're
Google
going back
voicemail.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you the number.
Yeah. Give me the number. I'll talk. I love Curb. I can. Yeah. It's funny.
If you want to check out anything that we're doing, go on AverageNobodies.com. You can find everything. It's all the information for this podcast, for the movie podcast, all of our blogs, and anything that we write is up there. And also links to our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're going to end it for the third time again. Ryan. Rob, adieu.
Toodaloo.
Hey.
I bid you
to
adieu.
do.